So recently I went to San Francisco for a trip, and it was honestly a lot of fun. While I was there, I had a lot of experiences with the homeless, including a homeless guy trying to fight one of the exchange students. Yeah, this is going to be a crazy video. Also, guys, I have a vlog series coming out for my YouTube channel, Joey's Adventures. That's my vlog channel. I actually have the first vlog up. There's 2 more coming out very soon. So do me a favor, once you're done watching this video, go ahead and check out that vlog and possibly subscribe to my vlog channel. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. It's currently sitting at 70 something, so yeah, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe to that channel. To add context, my parents host exchange students, and every year the area coordinator of the company that my parents host through, she does this trip to Seattle and San Francisco as separate trips, and she was going to do a trip to San Francisco and needed chaperones. So my parents agreed to chaperone this trip, and they decided to turn this trip into a family vacation and brought me and my biological sister along, which was honestly a lot of fun. There was roughly 25 to 30 exchange students coming to San Francisco, and how that worked was that this big group of students was going to get split up into 2 groups, and each group would have their own van. So there's 2 vans going to San Francisco. I'm bringing this up because it will be important later for the 3rd story. So, yeah. One last thing before we get into the stories. Shout out to these guys for the follow on Twitter. If you want to shout out, then all you gotta do is follow me on Twitter. Alright, so this first story actually takes place on the 2nd day of the San Francisco trip. And basically what happened is that I was eating at Pier 39, which had some good food, I'm not gonna lie. We ate some dessert, and all of our devices, everyone in my group's devices were low, and I was going to go back to the van and pick up some other battery banks so we can go ahead and charge our devices. I was obviously on my phone the whole day filming stuff for the vlog, and so that's what I did. So after I asked for directions to the parking garage, because we parked in parking garages, because leaving vans unattended is not a good idea in San Francisco, especially when, you know, San Francisco is known for car break-ins. Eventually, I get the directions to the parking garage, and my dad hands me the keys to the van. Since my dad was a chaperone, he was in charge of driving the van, and that's why he had the keys. I get the keys, and I put the directions in my phone, and the directions took me through this touristy area of San Francisco, and I press start and I walk 10 minutes to the parking garage. I get in the parking garage, find the vans, and I unlock it, go inside. I drop off the old battery banks, and I grab the new fresh ones, and I put it in my backpack. I lock up the van and double check that I did, and I walked out. I decided that I was confident enough in, you know, walking in San Francisco, and I decided not to use the directions. And what I ended up doing was, instead of going down the path I decided that, hey, you know what, I'm gonna take a different route, get to Jefferson Street, which is the street that had all the piers on it. And keep in mind, guys, I was trying to get back to Pier 39, and that's what I did. I took this sketchy side road, which isn't the touristy area of San Francisco whatsoever, and I get into this, like, street, and there was, like, a few homeless people, like 6 or 7, not too many. There wasn't any. It wasn't a homeless camp or anything. It was just a random street that had homeless people on it. It was a little bit more dirty. It's not anything like too crazy like in other parts of San Francisco where there's like hundreds of tents, feces on the ground, lots of trash, but it was still pretty disgusting. I start walking down this street, and I noticed that there was a bunch of homeless people, like 6 or 7 of them. The group wasn't too big, but it was still a decent amount of people. And I walked by them. It was kind of sketched out, but I was like all right with it. And I see this one guy. He was in a white t-shirt and had ripped up jeans, and he was sitting right next to this van or car or whatever. And he looks at me and says, "Yo, bro, come sit with us. Come sit with us." And instantly I think to myself, absolutely not. And I begin to speed rock. And it was like, I don't know, like 30 seconds later, I hear this guy say, "Oh man," and he was acting like all sad and stuff, right? I kind of felt bad, honestly, but at the same time, I had to put my safety at the very top and not interact with the guy. Like, don't get me wrong, there's homeless people out there that are probably great people, right? That have made some horrible decisions or can't get themselves out of that situation, because keep in mind, guys, a lot of homeless people either have drug problems, mental health problems, or all of the above, and they can't get help, and maybe they just need someone to talk to. Personally, I would love to help those people, but I don't know what their intentions are, and I don't know if the guy was going to stab me, steal something from me, rob me, or sell me something. I didn't know what this guy's intention was, and I had to get out of there the moment that I knew that someone was approaching me. Keep in mind, I was by myself too. I wasn't in a group at all, so I was by myself. Like, if I get jumped, there's no way in hell I was going to defend myself because there was like 7 other people there. So I had to take precautions, you know. So don't take this part of me. Don't take this as I hate homeless people, because I don't. I just had to put my safety first, and that's what I did. After I got out of that area, I continued speed walking for like another mile or so. Well, it wasn't like a mile. It was like, I don't know, I was speed walking for a few minutes until I felt safe, and I was making sure I wasn't being followed, which, you know, was a good thing. I'm glad I wasn't being followed. And then I went ahead and I started filming my vlog and talked about it in my vlog, which I'll play now. Alright, so where was I? Oh yeah, I'm on my way to Pier 33, so we can do the Alcatraz tour. Between this clip and the last clip I showed you, when I was showing the bird I walked by a group of homeless people, there's one dude who was like, yo, dude, come sit with us, Like, dude, I don't know you. I don't trust people in San Francisco. I'm sure there's a lot of some nice people, but I have to take safety precautions, you know? That was just kind of a sketchy situation, you know what I mean? There's nothing else I can really add to the first story, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to the second story. So the second story took place the next day, or on the last day of the San Francisco trip, and what happened was me and my family were in this business area of San Francisco. I'm not sure what the place is called. All I know was that Macy's was there, so I hope that narrows it down. So we were in this business area, and we were going to go to either Chinatown or... No. We were going to the 3 ladies. Yeah, we were going to the 3 painted ladies, right? And we needed to catch a bus so we can get there. And we waited a little while, and we got on a bus. We get on the bus, and it was normal first. Then I see this one guy, and he's just like rapping and singing to himself. And I was like, okay, nothing wrong with that. Like, I don't have a problem. I thought this guy was like singing to himself, right? He was listening to music. And I look at this guy's ears, and he doesn't have any ear pods or anything in his ears that would indicate that he's listening to music. So he's just like mumbling music to himself, right? Which, you know, if you're just doing that, then, you know, it's totally fine. I mean, it's a little weird, but it's totally fine. Do what you gotta do. As long as it's not affecting other people, you can do whatever you want, you know? So I didn't have a problem with it. I just thought it was a little bit bizarre, right? And instantly, this guy started to get angry, like kind of upset, but he wasn't like super crazy. And everyone around me was like super quiet. Like, everyone on the whole bus was uncomfortable with this whole guy, right? Like, he was like screaming around, moving, and he was just talking to himself. He was really pissed off and angry that his socks were wet and stuff. Like, I'm not kidding. Dude was just upset that someone took his socks and made them wet. Like, I'm genuinely not kidding. So at this point, I was like, either that this dude is either high on something, or he has a severe mental illness, like schizophrenic, or he has like high autism or something. I wasn't exactly sure. All I knew was that this guy needed help, and he's not in a good place. So this guy was talking, singing to himself, and I was right next to this guy. I totally forgot to mention this, but I was right next to this dude, and I just know it was going down. And I see my sister. My sister was ahead of me too, and she was uncomfortable as well. Eventually, some new people came on the bus, and I was forced kind of backwards. And now all of a sudden, my biological sister is next to the creepy guy, and we couldn't like move any other direction, because keep in mind, this whole bus was packed. And it was quiet too, like I said earlier, right? Everyone was just uncomfortable because of this guy, right? So he was there. The guy was just singing and stuff. My sister was uncomfortable. She looks at me and says, "Joey, can we move, please?" And I look at her and I whisper to her, I'm like, I wish I can, but I can't. Like, if I could take your place, I would love to, right? Because, I don't know, I'm a big brother, and I have to feel like if something happens, I want to be the one that gets hit first, you know? Luckily, nothing too crazy happened, right? The guy would just continue acting like kind of crazy, and I don't know, it was just an uncomfortable situation. Once again, I think this guy was either really high or he has some severe mental health issues, you know? And honestly, I wish him the best of luck. I wish all people that are homeless in San Francisco the best of luck, because that generally sucks. So, yeah, that was the second story. Alright, so for the third story, and this third story is actually really, really crazy, so that's why it's the last story of the video. This story actually takes place in the perspective of one of the exchange students. For the sake of the video, we're going to call her Ava. That's not her real name. I don't use real names unless I got their permission, and I don't, so I'm not going to go ahead and use her real name. She's from Norway, and she was part of our group. She was actually in the van I was in. And what was going on is that she was with some other exchange students, and they were headed to Pier 33. The exchange students were supposed to meet up at Pier 33 so the whole group can go to Alcatraz. Me and my parents were already there, and while everyone was gone, I actually went ahead and filmed some B-roll and filmed some stuff for the vlog. So all that footage you're seeing actually happened during this whole third story. So yeah, not really relevant. I thought I should just go ahead and mention it anyways. What ended up happening was that Ava and another Norwegian exchange student, they were walking down the street and they see two homeless guys fighting, right? And one guy looked like he was defending himself and the other was just being the aggressor. The guy that was defending himself, he just ran away. The angry dude didn't really try to pursue him. He was just like standing his ground, just screaming and stuff. Ava, she sees all of this and thinks, oh, this is really interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and start filming the guy. So she ends up filming this guy, and in the video, which I will show shortly, the guy is just super angry, yelling at someone or something, not exactly sure, and he's screaming stuff about the FBI, which I'm not quite sure. So yeah, here's that video clip. After Ava recorded that clip, another girl walks by the homeless guy, and the angry homeless guy begins attacking the girl. The girl starts to freak out and becomes super scared, and she runs away. Immediately after that happens, the area coordinator and the chaperone show up. They were directly behind the exchange students. The exchange students tell the area coordinator what's going on, and the area coordinator is just not believing it whatsoever. She is seeing that this guy's being aggressive, and she just says, well, the homeless population, they can be aggressive, but as long as they're not attacking people, like physically attacking people, they're usually fine. One of the store workers overhears this conversation and tells the group saying, hey, we have a security guard. If the homeless guy starts attacking you guys, you can go ahead and arrest the guy and call the police. The problem is that the security guard that was on duty, he's just not paying attention or not doing his job, so he's just like standing there, right? And after the worker goes back inside of the store that she was in, they see the homeless guy attack another person. And at this point, the area coordinator believes the exchange students, and the chaperone, the other person, she begins calling 911, and the whole group is just staring at this homeless guy, right? The homeless guy catches on that the police were getting called and screams, you better not be calling the fucking police! I work for the fucking FBI! And he also called the area coordinator a bitch too. After this was going down, the homeless guy picks up like this scooter bike thing. I don't know what it is. That's what Ava described it when she sent me this story. He gets on the bike thing and starts riding over towards the group. The homeless guy gets close to one of the chaperones and tries to start attacking the chaperone. The chaperone pulls back, and Ava sees this and starts to get afraid for the chaperone. So what she does is that she grabs onto the bike thing and starts pulling it back. The homeless man, he sees this and he becomes super angry. He turns around, he looks at the girl, right? And according to her, this is the most disgusting face that she has ever seen. The guy had like pure evil in his face and eyes, and he had like snot going down his face and stuff, and the guy was just insanely evil. His eyes had like pure evil in them, right? And he calls her a bitch, saying, you little bitch, right? And he begins to start fighting the exchange student, tried to fight the exchange student. And Ava, she said that she was ready to throw hands with this guy. She was saying, oh, I'm ready to fight this guy. But before she can throw the first punch, the area coordinator grabs onto her shirt and pulls her back, saying, yeah, we're not doing that. And they quickly try to get out of that situation. After all of that happens, the security guard finally catches on what's going on and starts chasing the homeless guy. And at the same time, police sirens could be heard and police could be seen chasing this guy down. And the rest of the group did not see what happened after that. After the area coordinator made sure everyone was all right, they continued walking down to Pier 39. And that's what happened. Eventually, they reached to the pier where they have the Alcatraz tours. And I'm just sitting there, right, just minding my own business. And then suddenly I hear Eva talk about this crazy homeless guy that her group ran into, and she explains the whole story to us. And I'm over here thinking that this is the craziest shit I have ever heard in my whole life, right? So I ask her some questions, and I ask her, hey, would it be alright if I make a YouTube story time on this situation? She said, yeah, go ahead. I actually went ahead, got her Instagram, and I actually asked for her I asked her to retell the whole story, and she did. She sent me it on Instagram, so I made sure I didn't miss any details. And fast forward to May of this year, and I made that said story time. Ava, by any chance you are watching this video, thank you so much for letting me tell your story here on my YouTube channel, and I'm so glad that you were completely unharmed from the situation, along with everyone else in your group. With that, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, then please go ahead and like the video and subscribe to Joey Gaming if you haven't yet. You can always unsubscribe in the future. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and bye.